I saw her first.
You're a slug.
Oh, epic. I don't know how it got its name, but it is in fact epic. If you haven't watched the absolute gem that is Epic, you need to get on that. It has an absolutely amazing celebrity cast, if nothing else, including Beyonce, Amanda Seyfried, Josh Hutcherson, and Colin Farrell. Hi everyone, I'm Robin or Nanaimo Bar, and every Saturday I upload videos about underrated, overlooked, and usually animated movies like Epic. If you enjoy comfort films, then I suggest subscribing so that I can give you some future suggestions. Epic is centered on an adolescent girl named Mary Catherine. She prefers to be called MK.
Actually, I go by MK now.
Oh, MK. Well, I like that. It's more, grown up.
And she moves out to the country to live with her father after her mother tragically passes away. In the past, MK's parents had separated, and we quickly learn that the reason why this occurred is because MK's dad became so obsessed with his work that he let his family come second. His name is Bomba, apparently, and he firmly believes that there is an advanced society of tiny people living in the woods. Unfortunately, no one believes him, but he's determined to prove himself right. MK doesn't have very high hopes about living with her dad, and she's quickly proven right when he goes off to pursue a really big clue with his research. MK decides right then and there that she's out.
Larry, I need that getaway cab.
This isn't for her, it's not gonna work, so upon attempting to leave the house, she has to go chase after her dog, who ran into the woods, and in wandering through the woods, what does she happen to discover other than the tiny advanced society? How does this happen, you might be asking? Well, the other story we've got going on is about Queen Tara, the leader of the tiny woodland people. It's time for Tara to choose an heir, but first she must choose a lily pod to act as a vessel for transferring her power of the forest.
Today, Queen Tara gives her power to a special pod, so the life of the forest will continue.
She has a bit of a thing going on with her head guard. His name is Ronan, but neither of them have ever actually admitted that they like each other, even though they both really do. It's one of those situations where everyone knows, but nothing is ever said, you know? Anyway, Ronan has his hands full with not only protecting the queen, but also trying to be a guardian to our other main adolescent named Nod. Nod, like Ronan, is a soldier. They're called Leafmen, by the way, but Nod hates the rules and decides that he would rather go it alone and leaves.
I quit!
Ronan lets him leave, lets him live and learn, and prepares to help the queen choose her pod. Unfortunately, the queen is assassinated during the selection ceremony by our evil villain Mandrake, who wants to destroy the forest with his rot. Mandrake does not manage to obtain the pod, however, and before passing away, the queen desperately passes it on to MK, who she finds wandering in the woods. When the pod floats towards MK, she catches it in her hands, and it makes her small. Without realizing what really just happened, MK runs over to the queen, and her dying words are to
Take the pod to Nim Galoo.
Nim what?
MK has no idea what's going on, but immediately after this happens, a bunch of Leafmen show up because they were pursuing their queen, and Ronan is there as well. After the queen actually passes away, Ronan teams up with MK. He helps her to realize her situation and allows her to take the pod to Nim Galoo with his help. Accompanying the group are a comedic Snail and Slug, who have to stay with the pod because it's their job to keep it alive and moist.
We keep it moist.
Moist is what we do.
You're kidding. You're not kidding.
But with all the people involved, Ronan's bird isn't big enough to fly all four of them around.
With all this extra weight, we're gonna need another bird.
Bird. Of course.
So they go after Nod so that he can fly them around as well. It's at this point where we, of course, get some cute banter between Nod and MK.
Put your arms around me.
I just met you.
Okay, but you're gonna want to hold on to something.
And and their budding friendship commences. When they finally make it to Nim Galoo's, they learn that the pod must bloom in the light of the full moon. Nim takes the pod because the queen asked for that to happen before she died, so Ronan, Nod, and MK kind of assume that their job is done. MK expects that when the pod blooms, she will become big again, but we can see that she's not totally happy with this idea anymore. Tragically, before nightfall, Mandrake sneaks in and takes the pod for himself because he wants to try to bloom it in darkness, which would be bad. MK, Nod, and Ronan, in turn, sneak into Mandrake's lair to get it back again. But Ronan has to sacrifice himself so that Nod and MK can get away, and this affects Nod, who doesn't have parents anymore, more than he's willing to let on at the moment. So the team get the pod back to a safe location so that it can finally bloom in the moonlight, but of course, this is just when the final battle ensues. Mandrake sends his bats to cover the moon so that the pod will bloom in darkness. Nod finally accepts his role as a leafman and, in an attempt to make Ronan proud, joins in the fight to ward off the bats. Ronan ends up showing up all heroically because he apparently beat off a bunch of minions, but we're going with it because he's not dead, and he has this cool epic battle with Mandrake.
You know how many bargains I had to fight to get here. Seriously, I lost count. Well, what's one more?
Meanwhile, MK finally manages to remember her geek of a dad and goes to get him to help. MK leads Bomba back to where the battle is happening and gets him to play bat sounds on his iPod to lead the bats away. The pod blooms, a new queen is chosen, and yay, the good guys win. We have this really cute moment where the magic that comes out of the pod sort of becomes the form of Queen Tara, and she has a sweet moment with her heir, and she has a sweet moment with Ronan, and it just kind of pulls at your heartstrings. MK and Nod share a brief little kiss before MK finally becomes big again.
Put your arms around me.
She's not sad about going back to her dad, who she's now really happy to see and also forgives. The movie wraps up with us getting a nice little glimpse into MK and her dad's life in their cute little country home. They interact with the forest people despite their size, and all is well. There you have it, the briefest of brief overviews of the epic movie, Epic. I really think it would be worth a watch if you haven't seen it, especially, as I said, if you like wholesome comfort films. The nature theme of this movie is beautiful, and you get to see a lot of wonderfully animated scenes of nature. Of course, it's fun to hear familiar voices from the cast lineup, Beyonce, duh, and Josh Hutcherson in anything is an instant yes for me. Thanks for checking out this summary. Please subscribe and then go watch Epic. And let me know your favorite comfort movie down below because I might just watch it and review it. See you next Saturday. Bye!